If you're over 50 and you've been trying to eat healthier, maybe you switched to whole wheat bread, started having orange juice every morning, or you're choosing those low-fat yogurts at the grocery store, I need to share something with you today that might surprise you. Some of the foods sitting in your kitchen right now, foods you genuinely believe are helping your heart, could actually be quietly working against you. And I'm not talking about the obvious culprits like fried foods or sugary desserts. I'm talking about foods with healthy labels, foods your doctor might have even mentioned, foods that seem like the right choice. Today, I'm going to walk you through 8 of these sneaky foods, explain what's really going on, and give you simple swaps that can actually support your heart. Let's go through this together, step by step. Hello, my friend, and welcome back. I'm Dr. Sarah Truman, and it's so good to have you here with me today. Before we dive in, I want to be very clear about something important. I'm a health coach and wellness educator. I'm not a medical doctor, and this video is not medical advice. Everything I share today is for general educational purposes only. Please talk to your own doctor or healthcare provider before making any changes to your diet, especially if you have heart disease, high blood pressure, diabetes, or any other health condition, or if you take medications. Your doctor knows your personal situation best, and nothing I say here replaces their guidance. We're just having a friendly conversation about food choices, and you'll take what makes sense for you and leave the rest. Now, let me tell you why this topic matters so much, especially for those of us over 50. As we get older, our arteries naturally become a little stiffer and less flexible. That's just part of aging. But certain foods can speed up a process where fatty deposits build up along the walls of our arteries. When this happens over years and years, it can make it harder for blood to flow freely to your heart, your brain, and the rest of your body. Here's the tricky part. The food industry is very clever with marketing. They know we're trying to make better choices, so they put words like heart healthy, low fat, natural, and whole grain on packages. And we trust those words. Why wouldn't we? But sometimes what's really inside that package tells a different story. The goal today isn't to scare you or make you feel bad about anything you've been eating. That's not helpful at all. The goal is to give you clear information so you can make choices that truly serve your health. Small changes made consistently over time can make a real difference in how you feel and how your heart functions. You're not alone if some of these foods surprise you. Most people have no idea. So let's go through them together, and I'll give you simple, practical alternatives for each one. Here's what we'll cover today. We'll look at 8 specific foods that many seniors believe are healthy but may not be the best choice for your arteries. For each one, I'll explain what the problem is in simple terms, and then I'll give you an easy swap you can make. After that, we'll talk about some common myths and mistakes people make when trying to eat for heart health. Then I'll share some important warning signs that mean you should see your doctor right away. And finally, we'll wrap up with a quick summary so you can remember the key points. Let's start with the first food that might surprise you, and that's flavored instant oatmeal. Now, I can already hear you saying, wait a minute, oatmeal is supposed to be good for your heart. And you're right. Plain oatmeal, the kind you cook on the stove or in the microwave without any added flavors, is wonderful. It contains something called soluble fiber, which may help support healthy cholesterol levels. The problem is those little packets of instant oatmeal with flavors like maple brown sugar, apples and cinnamon, or peaches and cream. When you flip that packet over and read the ingredients, you'll often find that sugar is the second or third ingredient listed. Some of these packets contain 3 to 4 teaspoons of added sugar in just one small serving. And when we eat a lot of added sugar over time, it can contribute to inflammation in our blood vessels. Inflammation is when part of your body becomes irritated or stressed, and chronic inflammation in your arteries is something we want to avoid. Here's what you can do instead. Buy plain rolled oats or plain steel-cut oats. They're usually less expensive than the flavored packets anyway. Cook them with water or milk, and then add your own flavor. A small handful of fresh or frozen berries gives you natural sweetness plus antioxidants. A sprinkle of cinnamon adds flavor with 0 sugar. A few chopped walnuts give you healthy fats that may actually support your heart. This way, you get all the benefits of oatmeal without the hidden sugar. It takes just a few extra minutes and you're in control of what goes into your bowl. Start with this small change and see how you feel after a couple of weeks. The second food we need to talk about is margarine, especially the stick kind. For decades, we were told that butter was bad for our hearts because of the saturated fat, and margarine was promoted as the healthier alternative. Many of us made the switch and never looked back. But here's what we've learned since then. Many margarines, particularly the solid stick varieties, were made with something called partially hydrogenated oils. This process created what we now know as trans fats. Trans fats are particularly concerning because research has consistently shown they may raise the type of cholesterol we don't want, the LDL cholesterol, while lowering the good kind, the HDL cholesterol. This combination is not friendly to your arteries. Now, the good news is that food manufacturers have reformulated many products, and trans fats have been largely removed from the food supply. But some products still contain small amounts, and some older formulations may still be on shelves. The key is to read the ingredient list, not just the nutrition label. If you see the words partially hydrogenated anywhere in that list, that's your signal to put it back. So what should you use instead? There are a few options. Small amounts of real butter, used sparingly, are something many health experts now consider reasonable for most people. There are also newer spreads made from olive oil or avocado oil that don't contain hydrogenated fats. Look for ones with short, simple ingredient lists. You can also use a drizzle of extra virgin olive oil on bread or vegetables. Many Mediterranean cultures have done this for generations, and the Mediterranean style of eating is often associated with good heart health. Whatever you choose, just check those ingredients and use modest portions. The third food is one that seems so wholesome, it's almost shocking to include it here, and that's store-bought granola. Think about the image that comes to mind when you picture granola. Nature, health, hiking, whole grains. The marketing has been very effective, but if you pick up most granola packages at the grocery store and look at the nutrition facts, you might be surprised. Many granolas contain significant amounts of added sugar, sometimes comparable to a dessert cereal. They're also often made with oils that may not be the best choice, and the portion sizes listed are much smaller than what most people actually pour into their bowl. When we eat a lot of added sugars regularly, over time this may contribute to elevated triglycerides. Triglycerides are a type of fat in your blood, and having high levels is something doctors watch for when assessing heart health. The combination of sugar and refined oils in many granolas means that what feels like a healthy breakfast choice might not be serving your arteries as well as you thought. Here's a simple alternative. If you love that crunchy texture, try making your own granola at home. You can find very simple recipes that use oats, a small amount of honey or maple syrup, some nuts, and a light coating of olive or avocado oil. When you make it yourself, you control the sweetness. You can also simply eat plain oats with fresh toppings, or look for granolas specifically labeled as low sugar and check that the sugar content is truly low, not just lower than other brands. Another option is to use just a small sprinkle of granola on top of plain yogurt rather than using it as the main event. A little crunch goes a long way. The fourth food I want to discuss is diet soda and artificially sweetened drinks. Now, this one is a bit different because we're not talking about sugar here. Many people switch to diet sodas because they want to avoid the sugar in regular soft drinks, and that makes sense. But the research on artificial sweeteners and heart health is more complicated than we once thought. Some studies have suggested that people who drink diet sodas regularly may still have an elevated risk for certain cardiovascular concerns, though scientists are still working to understand exactly why. One theory is that artificial sweeteners might affect the beneficial bacteria in our gut, or they might influence how our bodies respond to sweet tastes in general, potentially leading us to crave more sweet foods overall. I want to be balanced here and say that the research is still ongoing and everyone's body responds differently. But if you're drinking multiple diet sodas every day, it might be worth considering some alternatives. Water is always the best choice for hydration. If plain water feels boring, you can add slices of cucumber, lemon, lime, or fresh mint leaves. Unsweetened sparkling water can give you that fizzy sensation without any sweeteners at all. Herbal teas, served hot or iced, are another wonderful option with endless flavor varieties. I'm not saying you can never have a diet soda again, but if it's become a daily habit, maybe several times a day, experimenting with other beverages could be a positive change for your overall health. The fifth food is something many people pour into their glass every single morning, and that's fruit juice, including orange juice. I know this one might be hard to hear. Orange juice has been a breakfast staple for generations. It has vitamin C. It comes from fruit. How could it possibly be a problem? Here's the issue. When you juice a fruit, you remove most of the fiber and concentrate the natural sugars. A glass of orange juice can contain as much sugar as a glass of soda, even though the sugar is naturally occurring. And without the fiber to slow down absorption, that sugar hits your bloodstream quickly, causing your blood sugar to spike. Over time, repeated blood sugar spikes can contribute to insulin resistance, and there are connections between insulin resistance, inflammation, and arterial health. This doesn't mean oranges are bad. Eating a whole orange is very different. When you eat the whole fruit, you get the fiber, which slows down how your body processes the sugar. You also tend to eat less because whole fruit is filling. My suggestion is to eat your fruit rather than drink it. A whole orange, an apple, some berries, a handful of grapes. These give you vitamins, fiber, and hydration all together. If you really love having juice, consider diluting it with water, using just a splash of juice for flavor, or limit it to a very small glass a few times a week rather than every single day. Your taste buds will adjust over time, and you may find you don't miss it as much as you expected. The sixth food is flavored yogurt, especially the ones marketed as low-fat. Yogurt has a wonderful reputation as a health food, and plain yogurt can indeed be a great choice. It provides protein and often contains beneficial probiotics for gut health. But when you look at flavored yogurts, particularly the low-fat varieties with fruit on the bottom or cookie crumbles mixed in, the nutrition tells a different story. To make low-fat yogurt taste good, manufacturers often add significant amounts of sugar. Some flavored yogurts contain more sugar per serving than a candy bar. And as we've discussed, all that added sugar is not a friend to your arteries. The better approach is to start with plain yogurt, whether that's regular, low-fat, or Greek style, and add your own toppings. Fresh or frozen berries, a drizzle of honey if you want a touch of sweetness, some sliced almonds, or a sprinkle of unsweetened coconut flakes. This way, you're getting the benefits of yogurt without the sugar bomb. If plain yogurt tastes too tangy at first, that's normal. Your taste buds have been trained by sweet foods and they can be retrained. Start by mixing some plain yogurt with a smaller amount of flavored yogurt, then gradually shift the ratio over a few weeks. Many people find that eventually the flavored yogurts taste much too sweet. The seventh food might surprise you because it sounds so scientific and healthy, and that's vegetable oil cooking sprays and certain vegetable oils in general. For years, we were told to swap out saturated fats for vegetable oils, and in some ways, this advice was helpful. But not all vegetable oils are created equal. Some cooking sprays and oils, particularly those made from soybean, corn, or cottonseed oil, are high in omega-6 fatty acids. Now, our bodies need some omega-6 fats, but the modern diet tends to be very heavy in omega-6 and light in omega-3 fatty acids. This imbalance may promote inflammation in the body, and as we've discussed, chronic inflammation is something we want to minimize for heart health. Additionally, when some of these oils are heated to high temperatures, they can become unstable and form compounds that may not be beneficial for our health. Here's what you might consider instead. Extra virgin olive oil is a wonderful choice for lower temperature cooking and for drizzling on foods. It's rich in compounds that may actually support heart health. For higher temperature cooking, avocado oil is another good option because it remains more stable at higher heats. Some people also use small amounts of butter or ghee for cooking. The key is to use cooking fats in moderation, whatever type you choose, and to vary your sources rather than relying heavily on one type of oil. The eighth and final food is one that many people reach for, thinking they're making a heart-smart choice, and that's whole wheat bread and certain multigrain products. Now, I want to be careful here because whole grains, in general, are associated with better health outcomes than refined grains. The issue is that many products labeled whole wheat or multigrain are not as wholesome as they appear. Some whole wheat breads are made with refined flour as the main ingredient, with just a small amount of whole wheat added. Some contain added sugars, high fructose corn syrup, or other ingredients that you might not expect, and many cause blood sugar to rise almost as quickly as white bread. When you pick up a loaf of bread, look at the ingredient list. The first ingredient should be whole wheat flour or whole grain flour. If it says enriched wheat flour, that's refined flour, not whole grain. Also, check for added sugars under different names like honey, molasses, cane sugar, or high fructose corn syrup. A good general rule is to look for breads with short ingredient lists that you can actually read and understand. Sprouted grain breads are another option some people find works well for them. These are made from whole grains that have been allowed to sprout before being ground into flour, and some research suggests they may have a gentler effect on blood sugar. Ultimately, bread can still be part of a healthy diet for most people. It's just about choosing wisely and paying attention to what's really in the package. Now let's talk about some common mistakes and myths when it comes to eating for heart health. The first myth is that fat-free automatically means heart healthy. This sounds logical, but as we've seen, when manufacturers remove fat from foods, they often add sugar to make up for the lost flavor and texture. Sugar may be just as concerning for your arteries as certain fats, possibly more so. Don't assume fat-free is automatically better. Read the nutrition facts and ingredient lists. The second mistake is focusing only on cholesterol in food while ignoring everything else. For many years, we were told to avoid dietary cholesterol at all costs. But nutrition science has evolved, and we now understand that for most people, the cholesterol in food has less impact on blood cholesterol than we once thought. What matters more is the overall pattern of eating. A diet rich in vegetables, fruits, whole grains, lean proteins, and healthy fats tends to support heart health better than obsessing over one nutrient. The third myth is believing that if something is natural or organic, it must be good for your arteries. Sugar is natural. So is honey. Organic cookies are still cookies. These words can make us feel like we're making healthy choices when we might not be. Always look beyond the front of package marketing and check what's actually inside. While these food suggestions may help many people, I want to take a moment to remind you of some warning signs that mean you should seek medical attention right away. Please see your doctor immediately if you experience chest pain, pressure, or tightness, especially if it spreads to your arm, jaw, or back. If you have sudden shortness of breath that you can't explain, if you feel dizzy or faint without an obvious cause, if you experience sudden weakness or numbness, particularly on one side of your body, if you have an unusually fast, slow, or irregular heartbeat that concerns you, or if you have any symptom that feels serious or unusual to you. Trust your instincts. It's always better to get checked and find out everything is okay than to ignore something that needs attention. Your heart is too important to take chances with. Let's quickly recap what we covered today. First, flavored instant oatmeal often contains hidden sugars, so switch to plain oats with your own toppings. Second, stick margarine may still contain problematic fats, so read ingredients and consider olive oil or small amounts of butter. Third, store-bought granola is often loaded with sugar, so make your own or use it sparingly. Fourth, diet sodas have uncertain effects on heart health, so consider switching to water, sparkling water, or herbal tea. Fifth, fruit juice concentrates sugar without fiber, so eat whole fruit instead. Sixth, flavored low-fat yogurts are often sugar traps, so choose plain yogurt and add your own fresh toppings. Seventh, certain vegetable oils may promote inflammation, so consider olive oil or avocado oil instead. And eighth, many whole wheat breads aren't as wholesome as they seem, so read ingredient lists carefully. Remember, you don't have to change everything at once. That's overwhelming and usually doesn't work anyway. Just pick one or two of these changes that feel doable for you and start there. Maybe this week you'll switch from flavored oatmeal to plain oats with berries. Maybe you'll start reading bread labels more carefully. Small steps add up over time, and consistency matters more than perfection. Be patient and kind with yourself as you make these adjustments. If you found this information helpful today, I'd be so grateful if you'd give this video a thumbs up. It really does help other seniors find this information, and I make these videos because I genuinely want to help people like you take care of their health. If you're not subscribed yet, consider joining our community. I share new videos every week with practical tips to help you stay strong, healthy, and independent as you age. We're all in this together, learning and growing and taking small steps toward feeling our best. If you'd like to keep going, I recommend watching my video on simple daily habits that may support healthy blood pressure. I think you'll find it really useful, and it pairs nicely with what we talked about today. I'll put the link on screen and in the description so you can find it easily. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. I know your time is valuable, and I don't take it for granted. Remember, every positive choice you make for your health matters, no matter how small it might seem. Take care of yourself, my friend, and I'll see you in the next video.